It is Y105, Dubuque's number one hit music station. My name is Steve Pulaski. I love talking to interesting people in the community. You listen to my show, you know I chat with a lot of different people. I've got somebody who is capital U unique on the phone line right now, was introduced to this quest of his, that's what I'm calling it at least, by my girlfriend who saw an article written about him and his venture to try to go to every single pizza ranch in the United States. His name is Jason Halkias. He joins us on the phone line today. Jason, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful, thank you.
So you are trying to go to every single pizza ranch, is that correct?
Oh, yes.
How many pizza ranches have you been to so far, Jason?
Well, as of now, after my most recent swing in South Dakota, 150 locations.
150. And how many pizza ranches are in the entire country?
Okay, so I guess things change constantly, so it depends on how you interpret it. The way I interpret it is like this. So there was a location that actually closed for good not too long ago, and there's one that is closed, but it's going to reopen in the summer, and there's a couple more that are set to open later this year. So if we figure in all that, when everything is open, there will be 223 active locations. I should point out, however, that that is not the number of locations I will have visited when I complete this quest. That's because my 150 actually includes 3 that no longer exist. So I will have actually gotten a 226 instead.
You must have a hell of a spreadsheet or something. How do you keep track of all these locations?
Well, obviously, I have a list in order from 1 to 150 of all the locations I've been to, and I also have a separate list of the remaining locations, and I break them down by state. They are currently in 14 states right now. I've currently completed 4 states. There are 3 others that I have completed, but now I have to recomplete because they have new locations since then, and there's another 7 that I've either partially completed or never been to yet.
How did this quest come about, Jason? Why Pizza Ranch? Why visit every single one? This is quite an undertaking. How did this start?
Well, it wasn't directly because of it, but it actually started during a previous relationship of mine with a woman in Cedar Rapids. She just happened to be a big Pizza Ranch fanatic in her own right. She did not actually encourage me to visit new locations. That was just on me because during our relationship back then, which I'd only been to 2 locations and then 3 because of where she lives, I then started to think, we have a lot of people in other cities that also have a pizza ranch. So if we ended up hanging out with them, that would give us a good reason to visit those locations. And so as a result of that, by the end of this relationship, I'd been to 14 locations. But even though the relationship eventually ended, I still decided to continue on. And it was a slow and steady process. It got to the point where I was visiting eventually 10 locations a year. And that's why I did not hit 100 until last August. And then it kind of accelerated because a friend of mine suggested to me if I were to visit all the locations, then I could eventually visit grand openings of new ones and still am able to say that I visited them all. And as a result, the real quest to visit them all didn't really start until last year.
He is Jason Halkias. He is trying to visit every single pizza ranch. He's got 150 in the books right now. What do you order when you go? Do you order the same thing? Do you keep it consistent?
Well, I kind of change it up a little bit here. You see, unlike what happened, before I got to 100, now I'm doing plans that a lot of people might consider out of the ordinary, which I can't blame them if they would think that. So like when I was in South Dakota last month, to get to their 20 locations, I went to 5 locations in the first day, 5 in the second, 9 in the third, and then 1 in the fourth. People might think, well, you're eating at so many locations. Doesn't that stuff you up? If you get buffet every time, the answer is yes, but I moderate myself. So sometimes I will get some items, sometimes I will not. But if you talk about the buffet, what would be my favorite item to get? Like what they call buffet your way, where you can request them to make anything you want and they'll give you first dibs at it before putting it on the buffet. I always like getting a stuffed buffalo chicken pizza. I don't know why, but I always seem to love that, and evidenced by a few locations that I was at in South Dakota, apparently they do too. So, yeah, pretty interesting.
I know with, some grand openings and some stores, closing maybe for remodeling or other cases, this might be a little bit tough to answer, but is there a particular location or a particular region of the country maybe you're saving for like the home stretch, the tail end of this excursion?
Oh, yeah. So it's like, for example, like when I hit 100 locations last year, I deliberately saved Hall, which is the founding location, and Orange City, which is the home of the headquarters, for 99 and 100 at that time. And then I decided, this seems rather unusual, but I decided to save 150, 200, and the finish line for locations that start with Sioux. I mean, I don't know why it came that way, but Sioux Falls West in South Dakota was 150. Sioux City will be 200. And then Sioux Center, which is the city where the company founder grew up working in a pizza parlor before he started this company, as the finish line.
What are you going to do with all of this when you're finally done and whenever that comes? Are you going to write a book? Are you going to maybe make a website? Are you going to do something to chronicle this? I know you got plenty of pictures. I've seen quite a few of them that you've sent me. Are you planning sort of a companion piece to this in any particular way?
I don't know if I would say a companion piece. I mean, I am chronicling it now on a special Facebook page that I've created, chronicling the quest. But yeah, I don't really think it would be anything special. I mean, I will admit, basically starting when I went to South Dakota and now when I go into southern Minnesota next month, I've been reaching out to a lot of, TV companies out there to see if they'd be interested. And obviously I found one in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. In fact, that was a station whose story that your girlfriend referred you to me from, as it turns out. And I just found one in Mankato, Minnesota, who said they would be meeting with me when I go up there later this month. So the potential is out there.
He is Jason Halkias. He is trying to visit every single pizza ranch that exists in the United States. I love this conversation, my friend. Super proud of what you accomplished. I love people who do unique things. You define that in spades. And I want to give you the final word, the opportunity. Plug that Facebook page you just mentioned where people can follow you and keep track of your journey. And plug any social media that you feel comfortable, man. The floor is yours.
Oh, yeah. So, the Facebook page is called Jason Halkias, The Quest to Visit All the Pizza Ranch Locations. I think I have like 500 followers or so on that so far. And obviously, anything else, you can also follow me at my personal account as well.
He is Jason Halkias. Super excited to have you on my phone line, my friend. I wish you nothing but the best and safe travels on top of it. Thanks for making the time today.
You bet.